On October 25, 1993, 129 passengers boarded Nigerian Airways Flight 357. 125 of them were expecting a routine trip from Lagos to Abuja. What they didn't expect was an impromptu lesson in aviation terrorism, Nigerian style. Now, hijackings are usually dramatic. You picture masked men storming the cockpit, issuing demands, and passengers panicking. But this one was something else entirely. 4 young men, including a 19-year-old boy and the others in their 20s, had decided that today was the day they would take control of an aircraft. Their leader, a man named Richard Ogundoro, the 19-year-old, their mission? To protest the annulment of Nigeria's June 12, 1993 presidential election and to demand the restoration of democracy. However, even though their objectives were honorable, their plan was poorly thought out. Here's the problem with hijacking a Nigerian plane in the 90s. First, the airline itself was unreliable. If the flight even took off on time, that was already a miracle. Second, the Nigeria government wasn't exactly known for being the biggest defender of democracy. Military dictators were ready to do whatever it takes to coup themselves into power, and even more willing to screw everybody else to keep it. But Richard and his 3 accomplices didn't care. They had a vision, and most importantly, they had a gun. Yes, a single pistol, just one, between 4 of them, and they weren't even sure it would work. But that was enough for them to storm the cockpit mid-flight, waving their gun around and demanding that the pilot divert the plane to Frankfurt, Germany. Now, this raised several logistical questions. 1. Nigerian Airways did not have the fuel to get to Germany. This was a domestic flight, not an intercontinental one. 2. Why Germany, of all places? 3. And perhaps most importantly, why was nobody taking them seriously? See, the passengers immediately noticed something strange. The hijackers didn't look like hardened criminals. They looked like confused university students who had just realized mid-exam that they had studied the wrong textbook. They fumbled their words, kept changing their demands, and, most crucially, they only had that one gun, which nobody was entirely sure was real. Still, protocol is protocol. The pilot, Captain Lawal, calmly informed air traffic control that, yes, the plane had been hijacked, and yes, the hijackers wanted to go to Frankfurt. Air traffic control responded, "Are these guys serious?" But believing it was better to err on the side of caution, the pilot told the hijackers, "Sure, we'll take you to Germany," except instead of flying to Frankfurt, the plane was diverted to Niamey. At this point, the hijackers were in way over their heads. The plane landed in Niamey, surrounded by security forces. Meanwhile, inside the plane, tensions were rising. Among the 139 passengers was a Chinese vice president and other high-ranking officials in the Nigerian government. You'd think that having such an important VIP on board would help the hijackers get what they demanded, but no. The hours dragged on. Passengers were growing restless. Eventually, the hijacking ended after a military raid leading to the arrest of the hijackers. Each of them served over 9 years in prison for their actions. To make an unfunny situation even funnier, the hijackers' singular gun turned out to be fake. The Great Nigerian Airways hijacking of 1993 had ended in the most Nigerian way possible, with no discernible end result. One of the passengers, crew member Ethel Igwe, died during the raid. The other passengers disembarked safely. Some of the hijackers were wounded. They spent the next 9 years in prison. Today, they have all completed their sentences. Later, Richard Ogundero would express that he had no regrets. Nigeria had finally embraced democracy in his lifetime, and for that, he is happy. You can be happy too, without having to hijack a plane for democracy. All you have to do is like this video and subscribe to the channel for more stories like this. It works, I promise.